Good evening from Lviv on this March 24th, 2022. I'm Michael Bociurkiw, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council, Global Affairs Analyst. One of the highlights of today was having lunch with someone I admire who's very strong and very brave, and that's Olga Rudenko, the editor-in-chief of the Kyiv Independent. You may remember her name from being mentioned yesterday when I hosted a Twitter Spaces chat. She was one of the three speakers on there, and it's very interesting to see how they've had kind of their birth by fire here in Ukraine. It was only a few months ago that the Kiev Post, where many of them worked, unceremoniously fired them all. And then what happened, most of the group that got fired, they got together and started the Kyiv Independent. And to give you an idea of their success, I mean, in just the past few weeks, their Twitter following has gone to almost 2 million. So they're really leading the conversation here in Ukraine for English language speakers, and really putting out timely and very accurate information about what's happening on the ground here. So check it out, the Kyiv Independent, and also I'd very highly recommend you to take a look at their funding pages. There's a GoFundMe, there's a Patreon page, and do help them out, because they need to expand, they need to hire more talent. And anyone out there who is into opinion writing, get in touch with the editor, Olga Rudenko, and offer your analysis. These are reporters who are here on the ground in Ukraine. They're not doing their editing or their reporting from overseas. They're here on the ground, acting professionally, putting their lives at risk, and also dealing with all of the family and emotional stuff that one faces in these types of war situations. Today, a lot of Ukraine news, because it is the 1 month since Russian forces invaded Ukraine from 3 different directions, and now we're a month into it, with many thousands of deaths and injuries, displacement, and destruction. And of course, today was the 3 emergency summits in Europe. The big one, of course, being the NATO summit attended by President Biden. And I didn't feel much of a wind of confidence blow over Ukraine, if we can put it that way, from what was promised at the summit. President Zelensky gave an address, and he didn't ask for the no-fly zone, or I don't think even the Polish jets he's been asking for. But he did say something new. He said, well, why don't you give us 1% of all NATO assets, the tanks, the airplanes, that sort of thing, so we can, defend ourselves against the second biggest army in the world. A very weak and muddled response from the Secretary General, Stoltenberg, on that.
We all listened very carefully to President Zelensky, and many of the leaders in the room have had contacts with him over these weeks. I also spoke with him, and the Ukrainian defense minister participated in our defense ministerial meeting last week. We listened carefully, and of course we took note of his very compassionate message to all NATO allies. NATO allies provide significant support to Ukraine. And we provide also lethal weapons, advanced systems, and also systems that help them to shoot down planes and attack battle tanks with anti-tank weapons, and many other types of systems, including drones.
And then the other thing that kind of puzzled me was the statement rather, on how the alliance would respond to a possible chemical, biological, or, God forbid, nuclear attack from Russia. And what NATO said to that was, well, we're going to bolster our defenses. But Ukraine wasn't really mentioned there. So anyway, I'll go back to my point, and you're going to be able to read more about what I think in CNN Opinion tomorrow, that Ukrainians are more and more, I mean, they're grateful for the support coming from the West, but at the same time, I think they feel quite more increasingly that they're fighting a proxy war for the West. But, if they're able to execute this war and finish off, or almost finish off, the Russian forces, at least the ones that are here on the ground, well, that's going to be a heck of an accomplishment, not only for the Ukrainians, but for the West as well. But still, judging by what went outside my window here today, they're boarding up this beautiful big church next to me. There's very little signs that people believe that this war will end anytime soon. So hence, across the city of Lviv, you're seeing these beautiful structures and statues being shrouded and boarded up. It's put a bit of a different kind of character on the city, but always a constant reminder that war is never far away. So on that note, I will bid you a goodbye. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it with others. Don't forget to check out my website, michaelbociurkiw.com, and I will be checking in with you again tomorrow. Please stay safe. Bye-bye.